Ukraine in maps, tracking the war with Russia. Ukraine has been widening the breach in Russia's defenses in the southern Zaporizhzhia region as its counteroffensive continues to make slow progress against Moscow's forces. Here are the latest developments. Ukraine has brought heavy equipment beyond Russia's first line of defenses in the Zaporizhzhia region for the first time, analysts say. It has also made advances around Bakhmut after Russia moved some of its most experienced troops from the city to the Zaporizhzhia region. Meanwhile, Russia has maintained drone attacks on Ukraine's River Danube ports, damaging the country's grain export infrastructure. Ukraine's armored vehicles advance. Ukrainian forces have been widening their breach of Russian defensive lines near the village of Robotin for several weeks, and analysts say they may be preparing for a new push. The tiny village, some 56 kilometers, 35 miles, southeast of the city of Zaporizhzhia, has been a focal point since Ukraine's counteroffensive began at the start of June. Progress has been slow, but analysts at the US-based Institute for the Study of War, ISW, say they have confirmed that Ukrainian forces are operating armored vehicles beyond the Russian anti-tank ditch and Dragon's Teeth obstacles in the area for the first time, just to the west of Nierb. Wivobov. War in maps, Ukraine widening Russia defenses breach. The ISW describes this as an important sign of progress, but adds it is not prepared to say that Ukraine has broken through, as its forces have not breached the last visible defensive positions. BBC security correspondent Frank Gardner says this is the most strategically important part of the Ukrainian counteroffensive and, if it is successful, could cut off Russia's supply lines that connect the Russian city of Rostov-on-Don to Crimea. Doing so would make it all but impossible for Russia to maintain its huge garrison in Crimea, which it annexed in 2014, he adds. Has Ukraine broken through the Dragon's Teeth? However, the advance so far has been restricted to the area around Robotin, and Ukrainian forces have a long way to go if they are to achieve this aim by reaching the Sea of Azov. The battle for Bakhmut. As Ukraine has been trying to widen the breach near Robotin, Russia has been bringing reinforcements into the region, including some of its best trained soldiers that had previously been deployed elsewhere. The UK Ministry of Defence says the redeployments of Russia's paratroop formations, known as the VDV, have probably weakened its defenses around the city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine, which has endured some of the heaviest fighting of the war. It has been under Russian control for several months, but Ukraine has gained some ground in the surrounding areas, and the MOD says Ukraine has now secured the villages of Klishivka and Andriivka, about 8 kilometers, 5 miles, south of the city. Attacks on Crimea. Ukraine has also stepped up attacks on the Crimean Peninsula in the past month, the latest a missile attack on the port of Sevastopol on the 22nd of September. It came just over a week after a major attack on the same city, which is the headquarters of Russia's Black Sea Fleet, using cruise missiles supplied by the UK and France that is thought to have destroyed a ship and a submarine. It also caused significant damage to the dry docks, which are vital for maintenance of the entire Black Sea Fleet. The next day Ukraine said it had succeeded in destroying a sophisticated Russian air defense system, the S-400, on the peninsula. Attacks in late August destroyed another S-400, and others knocked out Russian radar positions on offshore gas platforms. Russia's Black Sea Fleet is an important target for Kyiv. It is seen as the flagship unit of Russia's navy, and its ships have launched missiles at Ukraine, causing devastating damage. It has also been threatening to block the Black Sea shipping routes that Ukraine has been using to export grain, which is a particular sticking point for Kyiv currently. Moscow pulled out of the internationally brokered Black Sea Grain Initiative in mid-July, guaranteeing safe passage of non-military vessels, arguing that Russia's own agricultural exporters were being disadvantaged. Is Ukraine trying to retake Crimea? Since Russia pulled out, only a handful of vessels have been able to sail from Ukraine's Black Sea ports such as Odessa, with the first large grain shipment leaving Chornomorsk, just south of Odessa, this week and reaching Turkey on Friday. Drone attacks on Danube ports. The UK's Agriculture and Horticulture Development Board, AHDB, says 65% of Ukraine's grain exports are now going from the ports of Izmail and Reni, on the Danube. The grain is then transported by river and canals into the Black Sea, via the Romanian seaports of Salina and Constanța. In theory it is safer to go this way, as vessels entering the Black Sea from the mouth of the river immediately enter Romanian territorial waters. But Russia has also been attacking Ukraine's Danube ports using drones. Since the river Danube forms part of Ukraine's border with NATO, Russia's attacks have an added geopolitical dimension. At least one Russian drone has been filmed exploding across the river from Izmail, inside Romania. Russian drones threaten Ukraine's economic lifeline. More than a year of fighting. Russia's invasion began with dozens of missile strikes on cities all over Ukraine before dawn on the 24th of February 2022. Russian ground troops moved in quickly and within a few weeks were in control of large areas of Ukraine and had advanced to the suburbs of Kyiv. Russian forces were bombarding Kharkiv, and they had taken territory in the east and south as far as Kherson, and surrounded the port city of Mariupol. But they hit very strong Ukrainian resistance almost everywhere and faced serious logistical problems with poorly motivated Russian troops suffering shortages of food, water and ammunition. Ukrainian forces were also quick to deploy Western-supplied arms such as the NOR anti-tank system, which proved highly effective against the Russian advance. By October the picture had changed dramatically, and having failed to take Kyiv, Russia withdrew completely from the north. More than a year since the invasion, Ukraine is now hoping its latest counteroffensive can turn the war in its favor. The situation in Ukraine is often fast-moving, and it is likely there will be times when there have been changes not reflected in the maps. Thanks for following our YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the subscribe button to receive our latest information, and thank you.